Hey guys, Airgun Angie with AirgunWeb. I have my Air Venturi compressor, and this is not the same one that I got little over 3 years ago. This one is actually brand new from Pyramyd Air. So you guys might be wondering what happened to my first compressor. Well, it really had an odd kind of failure that is not normal for these compressors. And what happened was the crankshaft actually sheared. So it wasn't turning, the motor was turning on, but the compressor wasn't pumping. So that's not normal for this compressor. And we sent pictures into Pyramyd Air to show them what had happened. And they sent me a new one. I'm going to show you guys in this video the proper and perfect setup and how you can continue to extend the life of your compressor, because we all want that. You spend good money on something, you want it to last as long as possible. So first off, what we're going to do is take off this back cover. I'll let you guys know first that I got a little head start and I've already done this step, and then I realized, hey, you know what? They might like to watch me do this. So what I already did is take this plastic top off, and in here goes water. Not just any water, guys, distilled water. Make sure it's distilled. It'll keep the gunk from building up and passing through your tubes and clogging things up. So distilled water goes in there for the coolant. And then once you have that, of course, you can put the, what is it called? The cover back on. And now we're going to turn around to the side right here. Hopefully you guys can see it from where you are. This right here is where the oil goes. And you want to use the 100 ISO compressor oil. Don't just use any kind of oil. See, ISO 100. This is air compressor oil. Don't just grab any kind of oil and put it in here. Your compressor will not have a very good life. So let's take this red rubber thing off, and probably wouldn't hurt to make sure that this Allen wrench is tight, because that's where you drain the oil out when you want to change it. So just make sure it's tight so we don't have any oil. There we go. Yep, it's good. We don't have any oil draining out. Now all you basically do is you're going to dump the oil in here, and there is, you want to go above the red. There we go, and that's good. Okay, so after that, we're not going to replace the red rubber thing. We are actually going to screw on the oil plug. This is the sealing plug, S-E-A-L-I-N-G, and screw that in. And that keeps it nice and tight. There we go. So that's it for that. We have the oil levels right. And then we have all sorts of gadgets that come with it. So we have some extra O-rings and springs, and it looks like a fuse. And then there is the adapters for the different connectors. So an Allen wrench, we have a bag of gaskets. This is to change the filter. Thank you so much, Pyramyd Air, for sending this out to me so I can keep shooting with air. This time I want to make sure that I go through every step, and they assured me that it probably wasn't anything that I had done, or had not done. But this time I want to make sure that I go through every step that I should to make sure my compressor lasts as long as possible. So what are those things that we should do? Well, make sure that your water coolant is full all the time, and make sure you use distilled water. Because if you use anything else, there's a possibility of calcium and stuff building up in the lines, clogging it, therefore making your compressor work harder to pump the coolant than it has to, and wearing on it. And as far as the oil, make sure it is at an appropriate oil level, as well as changing it. Now when you first get it, you want to change it, the first time you want to change the oil is either 1 month or 25 hours, whichever one comes first. 25 hours of running time or 1 month in time period. So whichever one comes first, that's when you want to change the oil. Whether it looks dirty or clean, it doesn't matter, change it. The next time, and after that, it's going to be every 3 months or every 50 hours of running time. So make sure you do that. You want to follow those instructions to prolong your life, not your life, but the life of the compressor. So there's a filter that looks just like this in here, and you want to change that every 50 hours. I've already got a little bit of a head start, guys. When you get your compressor, the release valve is not actually connected, which is right here. And I'm not going to unscrew it all the way because it's quite a long screw. So you will have to screw that in. But one thing that I know is that when you start your compressor up, never ever start with this completely tightened. Don't start it on load. So you want to make sure that the release valve is open when you start your compressor up. It doesn't put as much of a workload on the compressor itself. All right, guys, so my compressor is set up. Let's go ahead and do the initial 10-minute start, and then we're going to fill a bottle. So for the very first time, before you fill anything, when you very first plug your compressor into a 110 volt outlet, you want to make sure you let it run for 10 minutes. There's the cooling system. Don't plug it into anything, don't fill anything, just let it run for 10 minutes. Periodically during this 10-minute period, you want to open the pressure release valve to allow any excess oil or water to be released. Once that's over, turn it off, allow it to cool before filling anything with it, and then you're good to go. That's it. All right, guys, so now we set the timer for 5 minutes. We're gonna let it cool for 5 minutes before we use it. I'm going to hook a bottle up to it, and we're going to fill a bottle. The bottles I'm filling are completely empty. So we're going to see how long it takes from start to finish. And all of these instructions that I'm giving you guys and that I plan to follow myself will prolong the life of your Air Venturi compressor. And that's what we all want, right? This is an Air Venturi 100 cubic inch bottle. And we're going to see how long it takes it to fill from zero, from absolutely empty, to full, 4,500 psi. We're going to start with the release valve open, and let's go ahead and turn the cooling system on. Now I have my pressure gauge set at 4,500 psi. So I got the cooling system on. There we go. Now let's turn the compressor on. Let me get my timer set up right here for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Start and start immediately. Go ahead and close this, and it'll start building pressure. Here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and open the bottle. When filling a bottle, you don't want to use it any longer than 15 minutes at a time. So make sure you're setting a timer somewhere, 15 minutes. 15 minutes is up, cut it off, let it rest for 5 minutes, and then start it back up for another 15 minutes. We are so close to almost there, guys. All right, so I'm going to close this. Then I'm going to release the air. It can make quite a mess too. I'm going to leave that open because when I start it back up, I'm going to start it up with the valve open. So I'm going to leave that open. So I'm going to go ahead and set the timer 5 minutes, start. We're almost done, guys. It was at about 4,000 psi, so a little more than 15 minutes from empty to full with this one. All right, there we go. All right, we're going to start this open, like I said. Go ahead and turn the cooling system on. Get that going. Now this time I'm going to turn the compressor on, but I'm not going to open the valve to my bottle until this builds up, just about as much pressure as is in the bottle. Turn the compressor on. Alright, let's go ahead and close this up. It's just about at 2,000. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and open up this valve. Automatic shutoff, so once it reaches 4,500 psi in this tank, the compressor will automatically shut off. But it's not to say that you guys should just walk away from it and leave it. You always need to be close by monitoring it for safety reasons. And there we go, automatic shutoff. All right, turn the compressor off. Make sure you close your valve on your tank, otherwise you're gonna lose it. You'll lose all the air. Close the valve on the tank, that shuts that, that closes that. And then I'm going to turn the cooling system off so you guys can hear the release valve. And it's very loud. It's probably worthy of ear protection, which I generally do wear, but not this time. For some reason, I didn't think about it. There you go, guys. That's the setup for the Air Venturi Personal Compressor. And if you want to prolong the life, follow the instructions, guys. Do what I've showed you here today, and this thing will be absolutely faithful to you. I had my other one for over 3 years. It did have an unfortunate failure, but it's not common. It was a very uncommon failure. Other than that, it was a great compressor. So I look forward to having this one for a lot longer than that, and I'll definitely keep you guys posted, keep you updated on how it's working. So far, I am extremely happy and pleased with Air Venturi. If you guys are interested in getting your own personal compressor, go to www.pyramydair.com. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'm Airgun Angie with AirgunWeb. Y'all don't just have a good day, have an awesome one. See ya.